Hey, it's Natasha.
And Khalil.
And we are the co-hosts of
WokeNFree.
Thank you for tuning in to our 120th episode of WokeNFree. If you've been tuning in every week for WokeNFree Wednesday, you know that WokeNFree is all about being real and honest with each other and you. We talk about everything and anything important to us, you, the world, and nothing is off the table. This week, we are talking about something extremely interesting. Brace yourself, guys. What's the difference between comedy and cooning?
Wow.
Booyah.
Wow.
Mind blown already.
That's an interesting topic.
We hope you are sitting on the edge of your seat because you will either be extremely entertained or highly offended. We'll see where you land. But with that, before we dive deep, it's time for my monologue.
Nice.
Get ready, guys.
That's good.
Yes. So if you are listening to this episode from WokeNFree.com, yay! You have downloaded the Podbean app and you have not only be able to listen to this, but you'll be able to comment, which is really exciting because that's how you join the conversation, by putting in your comments, guys. All right. So there's that. Thank you for tuning into the show on any of the platforms you're catching it on, because we greatly appreciate your support. Just make sure you are subscribed to WokeNFree on whatever platform you're catching this, and you're following along the conversation every Wednesdays, guys. Now, when it comes to sharing, 'tis the season, but again, we should be sharing all year long. So we really would love for you to share this episode with your friends, with your family, with your coworkers. Get the word out, guys. WokeNFree Nation is always growing, always expanding every single week. So make sure you get this out. Of course, when it comes to social media, we would love to hear from you on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube at WokeNFree. What do? You send us a comment, you like, you share, you talk to us, because we're all about the conversation, guys. So make sure you holler at us on any of those platforms for social media. And then if you haven't reviewed the show, we would love for you to take a couple of minutes, go to iTunes, give us 5 stars or whatever stars you want to give us based on what you think the show is doing in the ever expanding podcasting arena, which is pretty much everyone and their mom has a podcast, which is pretty awesome, guys. So we want to know, what do you think about our show? Why do you love it? Why do you rock with it? Why do you catch it every week? Put it in a review, 5 stars. And thank you. End scene.
All right. I'll say so.
Yep.
Thank you, director, for that one.
You're welcome, Mr. Sarcasm.
Each week, we like to share a little bit about us before we dive into the topic for the episode. Last week, we asked, time for a refreshing drink. Do you pick a smoothie or slushy? This week, we're asking, if you were to play a fantasy sport, what would it be?
Are you joking?
No. It's something that your listeners really wanted to know, probably.
I don't even really fully understand the concept of fantasy sports, but for what I think they are, I think it's like pretending to like pick your magic team in whatever sport, whatever that you're betting on or playing in, whatever. It's very weird.
Yeah.
No shade, but it's weird to me. For me, I guess the only sport that I remotely have any information on is tennis. And so, so I guess if I was like picking a doubles match or something, that it would be like the Williams sisters against, like Federer, or and I would play around with people in tennis, but I can't do football. I don't know anyone in football. I don't know anyone else in any other sport.
The only issue with that is I don't know if they actually have a fantasy tennis league, but I mean,
it sounds very bizarre.
Yeah, because it's not like a team sport.
People, it's very bizarre.
Usually it's a team sport thing with the fantasy sports. But I guess you do your tennis. Yeah. I pictured you as more of a baseball gal, but
the only people I can name are people who no longer play. But
you don't know the players, but you know the teams at least. You know all the baseball teams. No,
I think you're confusing me with my father. No, I know nothing of most sports.
but you do know baseball teams, at least some of them. So you could have gone with them. See, you're just being funny.
Yes, exactly. It's also a bird.
You wouldn't be a funny person now.
Arizona makes us both funny.
If that's what you want to go with.
Answer the question.
Yeah, mine would definitely be basketball because that's a fun sport, at least. I mean,
that you don't neither watch or entertain either.
I don't watch anymore, but at least I used to.
That's like saying I used to be a millionaire. Like,
no, it's not like that. It's better. It's like I used to watch it,
guys.
So I still know some of the people that play because people play for a while. See, so that would help me.
Not for 20 years.
You might be able to eat those words because there are some
people
a long time.
who rock it that long.
And there's people that you're like, wow, I didn't know they still play, and they do. So I definitely go with basketball and see how well I would do. But you're choosing tennis, so that's pretty
Stop
interesting.
throwing shade. It's interesting.
That's
WokeNFree Nation, did that surprise you? Let us know in the comments, guys.
Fantasy League for tennis. That's a new one.
It is a new one. I'm really creative.
Well, if you're so creative, then you probably can answer this next question. I think you might have some good insight for this one.
For sure.
What is cooning?
Good Lord. Okay, so according to the Urban Dictionary, and guys, you'll find all of our links and references in the episode notes. Once you go on to WokeNFree.com for the episode, you can click in and you can definitely check that out. Cooning is a verb derived from the word coon. A coon was/is a person of African descent whose sole purpose was/is to entertain white people. These coons, air quotes, guys, started out as wearing blackface, characterized by having big eyes and painting big red lips on their face. These people would tap dance, play instruments, and sing. Modern day coons are blacks who play stereotypical roles and black entertainers that promote ignorance. Yeah. Now, according to Literary Devices, another link you'll be able to find at WokeNFree.com, comedy, just so we have a kind of a breakdown between the difference of what cooning is and what comedy is. Comedy is a literary genre and a type of dramatic work that is amusing and satirical in its tone, mostly having cheerful ending. The motif of this dramatic work is triumph over unpleasant circumstance by creating comic effects resulting in a happy or successful conclusion. The purpose of comedy is to amuse the audience. Comedy has multiple subgenres depending upon the source of the humor, context in which the author delivers dialogue, and delivery methods, which include farce, satire, and burlesque. Tragedy is opposite to comedy, as tragedy deals with sorrowful, tragic events in a story. So basically, cooning is different from comedy because, to me, based on those definitions and what I've experienced in my life with media and consuming different content, I would say cooning seems to focus on the humiliation of black people in a funny way, versus comedy is the art of being funny, whether it's through images, through art, through words, through theater, etc.
One thing that was just from Urban Dictionary about cooning, but they didn't mention the most important thing, where the word comes from. Coon is a raccoon, the animal. But you mentioned the characterization.
Because the black eyes and
because raccoons have kind of like a mask on and they have big eyes. I guess, I mean, I don't see a resemblance, but that's where it comes from. So the word coon is based off raccoon. And yeah, it pretty much summed it up. I like that it mentioned that cooning is like, it's just harping on the black people are using like ignorance to kind of entertain others.
That's modern day cooning. Yeah. So we're not necessarily doing minstrel shows, but when we are consistently the bunt of the joke, when we are making jokes about fried chicken and watermelon, those are forms of cooning.
But they don't even have to be like such old stereotypes. They can just, I mean, they are based off, I guess, old
or
things.
In prison,
but it can be, it can be based off of that. Or
these are stereotypes of ignorance, and it's perpetuating ignorance in those stereotypes in the writing and the acting, etc.
Yeah, it's all about the stereotypes and trying to make fun of it and saying, hey, look, these stereotypes are real. That's what like cooning tries to show. It's like this stereotype that you think it's definitely real. Like you thought I was lazy, and look, I'm not trying to do my job, which is
So like the black person goes to office and just
sleeps, something like that. That would be a cooning, and it wouldn't.
Or he doesn't even go and he just smokes weed, like the Fridays. What was that called? Like Friday. Yeah. That whole series.
That's
is
a coon.
Absolute
I guess, or
breakout of cooning.
I mean,
there's lots of institutions. Or I love it, but what was it? Kid and Play or. What was the movie where there was
House Party? House Party.
Cooning,
Kid and Play.
Cooning.
You thought it was all Cooning? I don't know.
Cooning.
Some of it's comedy.
Cooning, black people dancing, black people just trying to be sexual.
Well, the dancing, yeah.
Black,
the dancing
like,
is the form of Cooning because it's just entertaining
City.
others. Like it's based off a stereotype that all black people can dance. So it's like, of course, you have those moves.
Whenever, I know you'll be offended, but
yeah, I'm really offended already.
Fresh Prince of Bel-Air?
It's comedy.
Would you all comedy?
No, I mean,
there were elements of Cooning in there.
Yeah, some points.
For his character was definitely not
some points, but
the most sophisticated.
But the problem is, I mean, it's again because sometimes you're showing like it could be a stereotype, but some people from the hood, they may have certain things that they do. So that's what Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, it's trying to show the kind of like the contrast between somebody in the hood, what would they
poverty
do
versus not poverty,
and like now in a flourishing situation. So it gets kind of hard because it's like, all right, let's be realistic. He's not going to be proper. He's not going to be very proper. He's going to be using slang.
But it is the perpetuation of ignorance, though, and so one can argue it's Cooning. I mean, it's rough because it's a classic, beloved show, but.
Because when I think of Cooning, I think of just a straight up stereotype and nothing else coming up.
Cooning is a complicated concept because of how comedy isn't just straightforward. There's multiple nuances within the genre, but I do think that when you start to have black actors playing out black humor continuously in scenes or continuously
black humor is fine though. It's the stereotypes you got to be careful.
Humor with ignorance, like humor of
because even like I'll talk about Blackish. I mean, even though they'll have some Cooning moments, sometimes they have things that like other people will not know, like
it's educational.
Other races wouldn't even. They wouldn't. Sometimes there's jokes they couldn't understand,
but
and
some of
Blackish explains the jokes.
Some of the statements are not.
Some of them are straight up things.
Yeah,
because you know what I think?
Cooning,
it's kind of like you can know it's Cooning if somebody's laughing at the race. It's kind of like they know they know the stereotype and they know why that's funny to them because they feel everybody's like
what
that.
I find funny is that like when I watch films with comedies that are mostly white people, it's a different like
tone.
It's a different tone, and I don't understand why like black films or black humorous films have to really perpetuate certain stereotypes. Well, I don't see that in white comedy. I don't. I see silliness. You can be silly, you can be funny, but it's a different approach to it. And I think that's, to me, it's been troubling for many, many years because, at what point are we going to stop being the butt of the joke? At what point are we going to stop allowing people to laugh at us? Like, why are you laughing at me?
It's supposed to be laughing with them.
Yes, and I don't feel that when you watch a black funny film, especially like the Fridays, like.
Well, no, those are definitely.
You're not laughing.
Those are made for one reason, though.
At us.
Yeah, those are made for one reason, just to be just completely insane. Like they weren't. It wasn't trying to further their movement. It wasn't like the definition of comedy that you were talking about, ending with like a happy feeling. It's more like, you end with a feeling like, man, those people act a real fool. I hope they aren't like that in real life. But I think people see it and think it's real.
The mockery of Scream. What was those called?
Scary Movie.
Is there not Cooning in there?
Yeah, but there's also other types of comedy too, though. That's what's funny. That's definitely a mix. That's definitely a mix. But they use it. It's kind of like, what they do? They blend the lines of comedy and Cooning. That's what I think sometimes. Sometimes it's blended. Because sometimes they'll take like a white stereotype and join it with the black stereotype. And I don't know what that is when you do that, but that's what they did in the movie.
Like, like those lines, like, when you have a scary film and then you have the black character who's like, I'm black. I'm not going to walk in that house. Yeah, white people can do that. Yeah. Right? Like, is that comedy or is that?
Yeah, technically, but it is a stereotype that
all black people are afraid.
But that's not even afraid. That technically that's smart. It's kind of like black people have.
You're judging it. I'm saying assess it. Like
I'm saying they're smart. They assess the situation and say if it's dangerous, I'm not going to go into that dangerous situation.
But is that like the best response to show like or is I don't know. Maybe I'm being hypersensitive about it. But.
Well, yeah, because it's like because now you're talking about that's a very specific type of entertainment, but like in scary movies, when the cast goes into a house that's unpopulated and there's chainsaws hanging from the windows, like who really would do that? They try to show that in those those situations are trying to perpetuate a white stereotype that white people don't care what's going on. They're going to investigate.
And that's not true for everyone.
It's not true. Yeah, so it's based off of that stereotype. So then they do a stereotype that all blacks, they don't go for that, which is I don't think that
you can't speak in. You can't.
I don't call it a Cooning moment.
You can't speak in generals for all, right?
Yeah.
Because not all people are going to do the same thing.
I mean, that's interesting. You say it's Cooning whenever they show a black that says, "Oh, I'm not going for that."
I don't know. To me, that's just because I've never seen a white film where a white person says, "Well, I'm white and I'm going to do this," right? Like, why is it that his race then becomes?
But they don't always say I'm black. They don't always say that. But I mean, it's like
I've heard that, and I'm just like, when I hear that, then I'm just like, that's not confident.
But Scary Movie made fun of it, and they said they do the opposite, and they'll say I'm white, so I have to go in there. Like they've done stuff like that. Well,
so then you believe? Do you believe Cooning is associated? Like, based on the definition, do you think modern day Cooning is now extended beyond black people then? Because I know when we were talking about this for the episode, you were saying not just only black people can coon.
Well, no, I think cooning is a specific type of stereotype. So anybody that's dancing and it's like a funny, goofy thing, I think other races can coon, but I think it's based off of the original, like, so
it's cultural appropriation.
Yeah,
plus
using
cooning,
that, yeah.
So thus, people are cooning, but it's cultural appropriation.
Yeah, it's both, yeah.
Showcasing black culture.
So you can be a white person
by a
and you
non-black person.
Yeah, you can be any color person and you can coon, actually. I believe so.
Shout out to that weather person, yes, who dances horribly and does
you offended a lot of people. They were saying he was really great.
I'm sure they do. Good for them.
You're saying horribly. I mean, horribly. I'm not gonna comment on the quality of dancing. But at the end of the day, we have cultural appropriation and we have cooning there. So, and to have that on the news or whatever public channel it's
that
a news.
It's
not
absurd.
on. I mean, he does it sometimes on the channel, but he puts it on his page a lot.
Yeah, but they show him doing it at the station.
Yeah,
like
it's at the station. No, it's only at the station.
Yeah,
and it's not always on. But the people apparently love it from that area.
Yeah, I bet they do because cooning was very popular.
I know, isn't that funny?
And cultural appropriation is extremely popular.
Zoos are popular.
Yeah, sure.
Putting people on display.
Looking and laughing at people is very popular.
Yeah, technically, I guess. Yeah, if you go from that point of view.
Which then leads to say, why are people in 2019 and hopefully going into 2020, I highly doubt things will change, but say, let's just assume 2019 and beyond, why are people still cooning?
I think it's like a lack of creativity is for one thing. It's kind of easy to go back to old stereotypes because you already know how people are going to respond to it. So let me just go and do these black dances because people are going to laugh because they didn't expect me as a white person to do black dancing. So it could be that. Or let me just tap dance and sing because, you know, that's so ridiculous. I don't do it in real life. So people are going to laugh at that. It's just like an easy thing to go to. Instead of having to be like hard, like think hard and be clever, you just say, let me go back to old kind of comedy that people used to laugh at and people still
it works. So
laugh at.
Why break the mold?
Yeah,
right?
and it's not. And what's good about cooning is you don't have to do like thinking. You see it, and it's just
snap.
It's not like you have to think about this joke. Like it's a thing that you see it, and it's either funny or you just say forget it.
Robot racism. That's hilarious.
What do you mean robot racism?
Meaning like you're saying for you not to think. That's hilarious to say that people are doing things like without even having to think.
But I'm saying that's an easier form of comedy to absorb though. Cooning is a lot easier because it's like it's so obvious. It's not there's nothing smart about it. There's nothing where you had to think up long nights about how to like not say what the joke is, but say what the joke is. Like, there's no trick to the cooning. It's like you're just saying a stereotype, and the stereotype a lot of people believe. And
there's more.
Let's just go with that because it's funny.
I can't count how many times people, when I say I'm hungry and someone is, fried chicken, be like, oh, you're so hilarious.
Well, yeah, like that. It's like,
you're
come
so
on.
funny. I forgot to laugh.
Yeah, so when you go with the stereotypes like that, that's
which again,
obvious.
why this is an issue because when we have continued content in theaters, in homes, what do you expect for people? If people are a representation of people are what they consume, and if they consume cooning, then they will expect cooning from you in real life, and they will enjoy cooning because it's all around, right? It's your world is your reality, and vice versa. So
people will just have to reject it, I would think.
That's my answer.
Supporting it, like don't support it.
Yeah, you don't watch it on Netflix. Every view counts, guys.
Yeah, everything
you can't
counts.
Be like,
every
we just
share,
watch this. Every share. Yeah, when we share videos of people just like acting a fool, like the one You Hate That video where the guy leans back and he's doing that dead Ed thing, or what's it called? The
Bernie.
Yeah, that Bernie dance. The dead Bernie. And then that became like a rap dance thing, and
that that had its phenomenon time.
Why can't we show a group of kids coding? Like, why can't we?
But that's not for comedy, though. You gotta give a comedy replacement.
Why don't you do coding and code a dinosaur falling off a cliff? That's kind of funny. I mean, that's actually awesome.
You can. They do that. That's
I've
more
never
nerd
seen
jokes.
That, though.
You don't see the nerd.
I see the dancing.
You have to watch Big Bang Theory. I think that's more of like smart comedy.
Or like The Office. We haven't watched The Office, but like, is there cooning in The Office? I haven't heard people talk about that, right?
I can't say.
Hey, Welcome Free Nation, if you have watched The Office, please let us know. Is there cooning in that show?
Because I'll tell you, at least in Office, Office Space, did they have, they had some things that were kind of like messed up. Because what do you count it if like a white person is playing like urban rap music?
Cultural appropriation.
All right, so that might not be cooning, and then they're trying to like make the moves and do some dance.
Oh, like Mr. Weatherman here.
But not like that, but just trying to be kind of like a rapper. You know, like how rappers move when they're on stage.
So hardcore cultural.
So that wouldn't be cooning then, if you're just like mouthing your words to what the song.
If he's like, I'm so hood, I'm a
like that, and you're just like from your suburban white person.
You're perpetrating the idea that like you're a hoodlum, you're a killer, like a black person because black people are so
but that's not.
So to me, in theory, it could be that combo of cultural appropriation plus a bit of cooning. And so this is a bad,
because there was that in Office Space, the movie. You kind of had some of that where they were playing that, and they did a little bit of it, not a lot, but a tiny bit of that.
It's a funny movie and that we adore. Shout out to the creators of Office Party that Christmas.
Oh man, that's a crazy.
So was there cooning in there, right? Like, did we?
I don't remember it to be.
I know.
Remember that kind of stuff in that. I don't know.
I think
it's possible.
Was crazy humor and it was crazy.
I think it was just partying.
But see, that's what I'm saying.
I think it was like rocker party
to have a whole comedy special and comedy film without the elements of cooning. Like,
you can. You don't need it.
It's possible. Yeah. So for me to answer the question, ultimately, why are people so cooning in 2019 and beyond? I believe it pays. I think that when it comes to our black comedians, our black comedic heroes and kings and queens, unfortunately, they'd have to deny financial gain from not perpetuating this ignorance. And I don't know if they feel like it's up to them to do that. I don't even know if they would even adhere to the idea that they're cooning, right?
Yeah,
who would want to admit to the idea that you're like Steve Harvey? Love you. Has he cooned?
Of course he has.
Ding, 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 ding.
Of course he has.
Love you, Steve Harvey. Love you.
Is that the meat and potatoes of his routines, though? I'd have to go back and look. I don't know.
Have to go back.
I have to go back and look and see. I didn't judge him all
I think people loved Richard Pryor because he was a comedian. He wasn't a massive cooner, right?
Oh, he had a lot of jokes that just withstand humor. Yeah, it goes beyond his race.
You can be funny. You can be a black person and you can be funny without cooning. Like, it's an actual reality.
If you go beyond racial stereotypes, then you're actually just going about comedy.
But I don't know if comedians are thinking on that. I think they're looking to get paid because it's hard in these streets. You're hungry, you're cold, things have to be paid. So you're going for the gigs and you're trying to be the next Kevin Hart. You're trying to be the next best you, right? Whatever. But at the end of the day, if you continue down this road, at what point are we going to be now held responsible for the lack of respect for our own race? Because if we're perpetuating this ignorance, there's no one else to blame. I mean, you can blame the writers, right? And so then we need more of us, people, representation in spaces to be able to write better scripts and create better comedy that doesn't have to rely so much on old school cooning. But it's a nuanced issue. But I don't know. It's like if we went to Kevin Hart, love you, Kevin Hart. Do you coon? Right?
Interesting, yeah.
Rough stuff.
Hey there. Do you have a book that you want to share with the WokeNFree Nation? Are you a business owner looking to share your product or service with the podcasting world? Well, guess what? You can book an ad with us on our Contact Us page at WokeNFree.com. We're super excited to speak with you about curating a unique ad that will get your message across the WokeNFree platform. So go to the Contact Us page at WokeNFree.com. That is WokenFree.com. WokeNFree.com, because Woke and Free is more than a podcast. It's a way of life and offers an innovative way to promote your platform in the exploding podcasting space.
Do you actually think it's possible for people to stop cooning and just perform comedy? You think it really can happen?
I think it's not an immediate thing. I think it would take time, because you'd have to have people pretty much like with the Me Too movement, you would have to have all people of color. Because again, cooning, we're talking about it from the black perspective, but you know, one could argue when there's stereotypes within the Latin community, there's stereotypes within the Asian community.
Yeah, when they do those.
Why do we only have to show people like when Crazy Rich Asians came out? That was so crazy for people because we had never seen an Asian man in a romantic lead, right? Like, they never show that. They show them as samurais, they show them as nerds, but they never are the sexy, delicious love interest. Like, whoa, right? Mind blown. So it would be up to Hollywood executives to make changes. It'd be up to Hollywood writers and script makers and actors to say no. The same way women are like, enough with the rape and the molestation and the disrespect. People of color, the time to say no is now. The time for us to demand better for ourselves and our community is now. And so unless people can come to and have a consensus with that, I think it's going to be a while to that.
But you do think it's possible then?
Well, what is the answer to that, Khalil?
Oh no.
Anything and everything is possible. What's your answer?
All right, then just another question to add on to that, since possibility is too much for you, is will this happen in 100 years?
Oh, wow.
Or is that not long enough?
Do you think it's paramount? I don't know if people find it. I think it's paramount because, you know, as people who eventually we would like to be parents, I think it's sickening to have children. The idea of bringing children into this earth, seeing them themselves be so degraded and so less than what they are, less than the kings and queens that we all are as human beings, much less people of color. So I think it's sickening. I think it's something of imperative. I think it would make us feel much more empowered if we, the same way how people got mad at Disney Plus when they showed all the movies with the racism.
Yeah,
I get mad every time I turn on a show and it's like, oh, yeah, like it's the same thing. Like it's like, here we go, Barney. Like here we go.
Yeah.
Right? Or God forbid, like we mentioned in our colorism episode, as I turned on a Christmas movie, could I not hear about acting light skin? Can I not hear about yellow this and that? Right? Like
I know,
at what point are we tired of talking about madness?
But
Stop talking about your race, guys. Like stop. I'm like that's I don't know. I think people enjoying being.
So you think they need at least 100 more years of cooning?
Possibly.
You need at least 100
because
more.
You know there's other things like renewable energy that's going to take paramount
precedence. You think?
Yeah, precedence to saying, well, you know, y'all been cooning for years. We'll just coon for some more, right? And it's the same thing. Like, is Kevin Hart going to say no to a deal where he's going to make $50 million and it's going to include 20% cooning? Like, of course he's going to take it, right? Like, I mean, he's here to make money.
Well, I think the thing is, I don't think we even like identify people that are cooning, right? It just happens and we laugh. We don't ever say, oh, that guy cooned. Like, if we tagged it, I think that would help. So anytime you share a cooning thing, tag it as cooning. But then
I feel like it's also like black on black crime, because it's like, what are we going to do? We're going to have a list of cooners. I mean,
then you know what to avoid at least. You're like, I want to avoid a show that has cooning in it.
But then people are going to, you know, it's that whole adage of like those who can't talk about it, right? So they're going to look it up. Like, we're not comedians, so they're going to be like, that's so great for you to tell me what I'm doing. When's the last time you've gone on stage and did an act, right? Like, how do you understand the art of cooning? I mean...
Well, no, but we can see if you're perpetuating these racial stereotypes, we need to not let that go down.
I agree with you.
Because I think it's a problem that people don't call it out when they don't call it what it is. It's like, what's really happening here? This, like
what's that? Sextuplets. Cooning. Really?
Sorry.
Really?
Sorry,
Cooning.
Marlon. Sorry.
Cooning.
But yeah, it's...
And that TV show, that other thing, how many times did he talk about color?
That was, it's a mess. Because, you know what, if you're ashamed to show this to your white friends, then that will let you know if this is a cooning moment. Like, are you ashamed to show this? If you feel proud of it and say, look at this content, then hey, maybe it might not be cooning.
People are proud of some things.
I know, there are some people that are proud of cooning, and then you got some other issues to talk about. Like, come on now. You shouldn't be proud of that.
But do you think it's possible for...
Yeah, I actually think it's possible, and it's possible soon, just because look how our society's headed. I mean, I know we haven't...
But they never get enraged about Cooning.
I know, Cooning hasn't been brought up, but we're getting so politically correct about things.
I hope
that's helping.
I
mean, it's saying... Because
finally.
The problem is people need to be more offended by it, because it's like...
I'm highly offended
the people that are so offended, they're getting their ways, and people have to change what they say now, so... It just looks like we're moving towards censoring people. So I think eventually we will censor the Cooning.
We're moving towards censorship. Red America.
Yeah, you can't say stuff anymore because you're Cooning now. So that's what's going to happen.
Oh no!
They're going to find
There's
you.
There's going to be a Coon button.
Yeah.
Press the Coon button when you see seeds of Cooning.
Yeah. It's, we're headed towards censorship. So I think that Cooning can't survive censorship if everything else won't.
Well, listen, so you know what's interesting? So I just think that our art needs to change. Like, am I going to lie and sit here that I've never enjoyed Cooning? Of course I'm not going to say that, because one of my absolute favorite movies is...
That's 90% Cooning.
Norbit, and that is a literal Coon festival.
I'd say maybe 10% comedy in there.
There's not
90%.
even... It's literally 100% Cooning. I mean, from the beginning, it's Cooning. It's just,
Yeah, it's hard.
Norbit! It's just rough.
There's too many stereotypes.
But Professor Clump, is that not... I mean, was there not Cooning with...
There were some in there, but a lot less than Norbit.
Yeah. Norbit was out of control.
That's definitely tops the ranks of these Cooning things that's going on.
Yeah, Rasputia... yes.
But that's all I'm saying. You won't have to worry in 150 years.
Oh, maybe that's why Tyler Perry killed Medea. Because he saw the writing on the wall.
Yeah, it's going to be censored, yeah.
No more cross-dressing for me.
We won't be around for it, but 200 years from now, you won't even be able to see any of these comedies. Like, or you'll watch it.
Nice.
It'll be a censored version. Like, it'll all be blanked out. They'll just show, like, a teddy bear.
Well, you can't even show Norbit then.
No, you can. It'll say, here's the film Norbit, and a teddy bear just appears on screen.
So it'll be Ted? It'll turn into that Ted movie, that talking bear?
Yeah, it'll be just something completely different. It'll be like, this was Norbit. Or remember, they're going to edit out all the Cooning scenes, so it'll just show the title, and then it'll show the credits.
End. So it'll be a short film.
You have seen Norbit. You have experienced the censored version of Norbit. See, that's how it'll be in the future. So people don't have to worry about even deciding.
So that makes me a little bit sad.
Really?
Norbit's hilarious, but it's awful. But
you can do smart comedy instead.
No, I'm craving more smart comedy because I just watched
comedy that makes you think.
What was it? I Give It a Year, and it was about a couple who were not right for each other, and it was hilarious. And you heard me laughing. It has nothing to do. Like I said, when I watch non-black films, I don't see these same issues. So I think we've got to figure out a way to represent black humor without dipping into the Cooning pool.
Because I know you'll see white comedy and you won't recognize when they make white stereotypical jokes.
They do white, but I'm not a white person, so of course I can't. So it's not fair. Filtering through my mind.
I know it's not fair what you're saying because there
are white stereotypes. What it is,
they just don't have a name for theirs. We just had a specific name for what we were doing, but they have their own sorts of comedy that would probably be better off changed as well too. So,
but they need to show up and talk about it because unfortunately,
you just don't know what it is. Yeah,
through my lenses, I cannot understand the viewpoints of a white person. I'm not a white person.
You can't say all of them, but there's specific Italian jokes, Polish jokes.
This was British humor, so this was like the Brits could, if I sat and watched it with someone from England.
Yeah, maybe they can tell you what's actually truly stereotypical, offensive. That's not us. Absolutely. There's things they'd want changed. Here we go, yo. So what's the scenario? It's scenario time, guys. Scenario 1. Jin is on a family show on a popular streaming network. At the beginning of his show, he has a video log portion where he pretends to sound like a woman while snapping his neck and clapping his hands for emphasis when talking about any subject. Is he performing comedy or Cooning?
Cooning!
Wow.
So this is interesting because this speaks to several men who believe in the value of pretending to be a woman of color who is, I guess, enraged or irate. And there is this stereotype that black women tend to do that. Not every black woman. I myself don't necessarily snap my neck or clap when I'm angry. However, I have seen that perpetuated in the black female community. And I just think that, people come from different backgrounds and learn different behaviors. And I think at the end of the day, is that appropriate for a man to portray that stereotype in the show? Probably not, because it's going to be looking down and humiliating that community of women, and it's not, or that even beyond, not just black women or women of color, but the black people. And so it's not appropriate. If you want to be funny, do something funny. Try to do a handstand and fall down. If you want to, solve a problem and not make it. If you want to swim with sharks and the sharks bite you, do something different without the humiliation and ridicule of others. So it's cooning, and it's inappropriate.
Yeah, I'd say this is cooning, and it's indecent exposure to me.
Indecent.
That's what I call it.
Love that word. That's my favorite new word, yeah.
Yeah, because this is not acceptable.
This
is not who you are, and this is just showing a stereotype and making people think all women of color act like that, and that's not cool. So...
And for the women who do it, I think people need to stop being so outrageous. Everyone has different things that they do. So if a woman is mad and she's snapping her neck or she's clapping, listen to her and move on. Stop judging people so much. It is what it is. Is it maybe the best way to show that you're irate? Maybe not. But not. It is what it is. Until that person decides that they want something different, it doesn't allow you to then ridicule them, right? Ugh.
Well... not in our censorship world, you're right.
Nice.
Scenario 2. Chelsea has European ancestry. She's about to share an old video with an African-American tap dancer performing with her social media friends. The tap dancer is singing and smiling during the routine in an amusing manner. Is Chelsea sharing something that might be offensive to some?
Yes, you can be offended by anything in this world. So, if you ever ask a question, can you offend someone? Yes. The same way that possibility always exists, offense always exists.
So you can share a snuggling kitten, and that's offensive.
Someone can be offended because they'd be like, "Where? Oh, like you're choking it?"
No.
Oh, okay.
The kitten's just snuggling with somebody.
It could be seen as indecent or
it's indecent.
It could be.
Or a cat just look like an angry cat looking at the screen.
You're shaming cats.
All right.
You can offend anyone for anything. You could share a pear and someone would say this is indecent.
Yeah.
So that's
where you gotta wonder when
we're in a hyper offensive world right now. This is where we're at with life. And the irony, because people are saying the most outlandish things I've ever heard.
But there's still crazy things being said.
Highly offended. So is this offensive? Based on how this story is playing out, it seems like it's offensive. But I guess, the adage that I would want to know is what's her intention, right? Because sometimes people do things without the malice, the intent of malice. So is she showing it because she thinks it's funny? Or is she showing it because she's trying to say, hey, minstrel shows should come back? Right?
Wow.
I would pay my $2 to go see that, at 12 o'clock in Midtown City. Wow. Right? So where is she going with this? Is this contextual for her to show the history of what? That's what I'd want to know, because I don't know what her intent is.
She's just sharing it because it's funny to her.
Why is this funny? Why is dancing and smiling and laughing funny?
Because it's the movement. He's doing movements that she knows there's no way in hell she can do. So it's just really crazy to her.
So that's the term funny shouldn't come to mind. It should seem amazing or interesting.
But it's not interesting. It seems kind of goofy too, though. It's goofy type dancing. So it's most
likely offensive.
so that's offensive since it's.
You know what you're implying here. What's your answer?
My answer is that she's definitely sharing something that might be offensive, because this was old time comedy or
minstrel shows.
Yeah, them that was comedy though. That was not considered cooning.
Well, listen, slavery used to be the standard.
Yeah.
So,
but
there's a lot of things in the
you're saying used to. Slavery still exists. Yes. Slavery you can't say it used to. There's still slavery. And I'm not even talking about modern day slavery. There's literal slavery going on in some places of the world still. So that still exists. But she doesn't even.
Human beings are interesting.
She doesn't know it's offensive, but I don't know. It's hard though, because it's kind of like if you live in a community and nobody really knows what's offensive to others, how would she know it's offensive?
So
because she just found this video somewhere. She looked at it. It was funny to her. Now she's sharing it. It's not like she looked at it and she knew, oh, this was because there's minstrel shows and that's a black person. So let me not share that.
Yeah,
see how that gets interesting?
It does get interesting, but this is why we in the world have to find people of different backgrounds to spend time with. So the same catastrophe that happened with that company where they had the t-shirt, I forget if it was H&M maybe, who had these t-shirts and they had a little black boy in a t-shirt and it had monkey on it, and people were like,
it said, I'm a monkey.
Yeah, I'm a monkey. And the other people were like, I'm a this and I'm a this.
Yeah,
and why
only
is
the
this
black boy
child
got I am
have
monkey.
to be a monkey, right? And why did the mom allow that? Like all this stuff. Like if those executives, when creating that marketing campaign, had a person of color at the table, they would have been told right in their face, this is outrageous and indecent.
Yeah.
But when you don't have representation in decision-making roles, then you have scenarios where people say, whoopsies, and we lose money and it's costed money and it's a bad situation. So in this case, if she had a black friend or even a Latina friend or someone of color who she was like, hey, have you seen this? Before she decides to share it on her Instagram, if maybe she has 10,000 followers, right? She just say, hey, have you seen this? And this person says, please don't share this with anyone else. This is outrageous. Then she would say, oh, why? And they could have a
conversation about why.
Have a conversation without publicly humiliating herself and showing herself to be a racist.
That's the issue.
Because that's what people will label her. She may not be a racist.
Yeah, she may not
but
even.
People will
she just
come
didn't even
for
know.
her and say, you're a racist. And she might not be a racist.
She just saw this funny thing.
She thought it was funny.
Yeah.
But people so it's sad. So we live in a world where you're not really allowed to make a mistake, but then you get castrated for making public mistakes. So it's a lose-lose proposition, right? So people aren't being educated, but then also people are making mistakes without malice intent and being persecuted for it. So we as a society have to come up with ways of allowing people to speak and breathe without like dragging them through Black Twitter. And like,
as long as they're not intentionally trying to harm others.
There are people like the KKK shows that on their IG. That's not a, oh, we didn't mean it. No, they were really coming for us.
Yeah, they're being offensive.
But when you don't know and you get persecuted, we as a society need to deal with this because, we're getting to the point where you can't make a mistake, but yet you get punished for making mistakes. So where do we go with that?
Gotta be
we have to have some type of compassion for others.
Yeah. I guess that could help out. Mm-hmm. Scenario 3. Alicia is a black woman who loves to self-deprecate in all her stand-up routines. Is she performing comedy or cooning?
So you're referencing something we watched last year.
Oh, wow. You think that's what that was about?
Yeah, that stand-up show of fat jokes for 18 to 25 minutes.
Wow.
That was extensive. That's what you were thinking about, weren't you?
See, that's so wrong what you're doing. You're using personal experience to try to judge these scenarios.
Oh, are you just pulling this out of the ether? Get your life, Khalil.
See, that's so wrong. They're supposed to be very
it's so
fluid.
wrong that I'm a genius?
No, the scenarios are supposed to be very fluid and just they come out of nowhere.
Okay, Stephen King. Okay. I look forward to that first book of yours. Yep.
Wow.
That's coming from the ether.
All right. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not based off any prior knowledge. That's what I'm saying. It's just based off of what should be created out of nothingness.
Out of ether. Yep. Kronos. He helped you make it.
Out of nothingness. Zeus did.
Wonderful. Yep. All right, Poseidon.
Amenhotep did.
So cooning or comedy? I think it would depend on the person's background. It would depend on the humor being shared, quote unquote humor being shared. But ultimately, regardless of whether it's comedy or cooning, it's inappropriate because we too have to get past making fun of ourselves as just the act of comedy, because I think that people are really negative to themselves. And when we have a bunch of comedians come on a stage and do that, it's re-emphasizing the idea that self-deprecation is acceptable. And it's not. It's anti-secret. It's not appropriate. It doesn't make you feel good. I've done self-deprecation in my life, and I don't ever do it. And I'm like, wow, that made me feel so amazing, making fun of myself in front of this group of people. Like, you feel worse. You feel, like it's time to eat ice cream. Yeah. So we just need to stop. So whether it's cooning or comedy, I think you can argue either side. It's not appropriate. So please stop. Especially fat jokes. Ugh.
Well, don't take it personal, but
Yes.
yeah, I mean,
You need more information.
It's not really. It depends on what she's saying as part of the self-deprecation. To say if it's cooning or not depends on the specific type of jokes, is what I would say. So technically, she is doing comedy. Is it good comedy? Possibly not, because you're not. It's not really going on a deeper level.
It's not revealing anything. Yeah.
Right. You're just trying to make fun of how you look or whatever kind of stuff, how you feel, and those things. It's not really great. So it's more of depressing. You know, that's the kind of thing you're doing.
Like you need
doing depressing comedy. That's what I would call it. So, but technically it is, you know, it's probably comedy, but it could be a part of Cooning depending on what she says. But like you said, she should probably just stop that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I liked when you said that you think that people are pretty much just creatively lazy. And why they're not expanding past Cooning. And I think that, you know, no disrespect to any comedians listening to this right now, but you guys, we know that you have it in you. We know that you can think, you know, one of my favorite jokes that Kevin Hart does are the ones that where, I mean, obviously, you know, making fun of his dad being a crackhead is sad. So that, I don't know if that constitutes Cooning, but, you know, I like the storytelling that where he goes and he says, like, I said this to my dad and my dad said something crazy, or he'll say he'll show you how he'll take you back in time essentially and play out a scenario. I think that comedians need to think about their lives. There's so much funny stuff that's happening that has nothing to do with race. That has nothing to do with gender. I mean, even first dates, guys, like how many funny moments happen on a first date has nothing to do with race, has nothing to do with that stuff.
I thought you have to make fun of gender though. Because there's these gender norms that we think about.
But now we have to be careful because we're getting into a scenario in life where not everyone is living by...
and that's what you can make fun of.
To make fun of people who don't live by standard gender terms? No, you can make fun of
people that live by gender terms.
Okay, well, like being straight and being male and female.
You can make that joke, yeah.
It's dicey. It's hard. It's getting dicey, guys. It's like, because, you know, people...
It's a complicated thing. That's why you have to make fun of it. That's what comedy does. It takes those hard situations and turns them on their head.
As long as the intent is not malice, and
not
it's
to
also
harm
not, you're not going to listen to it, and you're not going to feel like you need to cry.
Not that. Let's just think about the
like, you know what jokes I hate? Like classic Jamaican jokes, right? Like, yes, I'm Jamaican and I'm fat, so that's why I don't like Jamaican or fat jokes. Yes, but still, it's so tired. Like, really, what up, man? Oh, you know, big up. Oh, you know, like, really, that's funny. It's 2019. That's funny.
Well, yeah, because you're imitating as how Jamaican sounds, I guess. That's the funny part of it.
Yeah, it's so funny I forgot to laugh. Yeah.
No, but it's the whole point that you're not Jamaican, but you're like trying to sound a certain way.
I just think those types of questions are like, or those types
of jokes
done
less though
crazy.
too.
Thank God,
because that's in the
'90s
tired.
they were
that was huge in the '90s though.
Jamaican bobsled thing, like, oh my goodness gracious,
cool running.
Yeah, cool running.
Yeah, that was
like that. That was. I mean, well, I'm not going to say the term, but
that was a comedy movie. You would think. That was anybody could have been in that. It could have been any race, and it would still been just as funny.
We are at that time again. It is coming to the end of our 120th episode of Woke and Free. Quite the episode discussing what is the difference between comedy and cooning. Booyah!
Yeah, that's one word for it.
Yep. Will we leave you hanging for what our next episode will be about? Drum roll, please.
On our next episode, we will be discussing what's your 2020 vision. Make sure you follow us on social media to follow along in the conversation, and make sure you tune in next week for WokeNFree Wednesday to join the conversation at WokeNFree.com.
If you want to be a guest on the show, please submit a topic for an upcoming episode or share how you feel on our Contact Us page at WokeNFree.com. Guys, we're booking for 2020, so WokeNFree.com. That's where you go, WokeNFree.com, to go to the Contact Us page and put in a request. If you're interested in coming on the show, that's where you do it. And really, realistically, guys, we're thinking the first quarter, like not necessarily January, but the upcoming months, that's when we're looking to book. So if you want to come on, make sure you start hitting us up now. Do not wait. We are very active on social media. You'll always see really interesting, funny videos, courtesy of you know who. And so if you want to interact with us, share what you think, laugh, not at us, but with us, feel free to do so on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube at WokeNFree. You heard the ad. If you have a business, if you have a book, if you have a product, if you're launching something, it's a new year, what's your 2020 vision? If that includes a new business, a new product, and you want a really entertaining, curated ad, you know where you need to go. You need to go to the Contact Us page at WokeNFree.com.
If you didn't already subscribe, please do. Share the episode and make sure you come back to join the conversation every Wednesday for WokeNFree Wednesdays. Remember, WokeNFree is more than a podcast. It is a way of life. Until next time.